and the Murray Isle is just here to the left where Hi guys, welcome to another Dead Good Walk. Today we're back in Scotland on the Scottish borders in a town called Selkirk, and we've come here to Auld Kirk to have a look what links this place to Franklin D Roosevelt and William Wallace. Oh, and I think this sign's going to give it all away. So this is a site of the Kirk of the Forest, where William Wallace was proclaimed Guardian of Scotland in 1298, and it's also the resting place of Franklin D Roosevelt's ancestors. Now this isn't the Kirk of the Forest, the foundations are actually underneath this church here. And the Murray Isle is just here to the left where Franklin's ancestors are buried. Probably their crest up there or coat of arms. And this is it, this is the Murray Isle where Franklin's maternal ancestors are buried. Colonel Adam Murray commanded the Protestant army in the Battle of Derry, 1639 I think. This one's a bit hard to read. What are these? In memory of the Moravia family. This is the kind of a plaque, isn't it, for the Murray family, who were Franklin's ancestors. I'm not sure if any of these families were linked. What's the names on this one? Murray, Hamilton. God, that's horrendous, that noise. Apologies. Someone coming after me with a chainsaw. It's a shame it's not really that well maintained, isn't it, considering the historical significance of it. But there you go. It is what it is. It's pretty trashed, isn't it, to be honest? Let's check some of these names out. James and Elizabeth and their son Francis, who died in 1947. Robina Turnbull, the beloved wife of George Roberts, and also his wife again, Annie Elizabeth Briggs, with their son George Roberts. Buried with his two wives there. John Lang, Sheriff Clerk of Selkirkshire. That's been redone, hasn't it, recently? John Lang, Captain and Quartermaster. Sounds very official. Very stern chap, probably. I'm not sure if it's worth getting too close to these ones because it's quite hard to read. Agnes Brown, James Brown, not the James Brown, don't worry. Let's try this one. I'm walking on graves but I'm not standing where the bodies will be. William Brown, Gideon Scott Mackenzie, Harry William Brown, died in 1852. All sorts of names, isn't there? What's this here? It's like a, it's kind of window shaped, isn't it? Margaret Anderson, wife of H.S. Anderson, and Henry Scott Anderson. I guess that's the H.S., isn't it? Really interesting to be at an actual place where William Wallace himself walked. I'm assuming everyone knows who William Wallace is. I think he was born in about 1270 and leader of the army against the English. Eventually he was captured and hung, drawn and quartered in London, where Smithfield's Market is, I think. Look at this one. A learned man. That's all we know about him. Or her. Could be a she. George Roger of Bridgelands, the town clerk of Selkirk, 1834. This one is a skull and crossbones with the hourglass. Spotted another one here, look at this one. I think that's a skull at the top, yeah, and an hourglass, and a man just standing there in his fancy jacket. Wonder if it was a military style jacket. There's one here with his head chopped off. Another one there. Just see the skull on it. And this huge old slab. James Dodds even, Portioner, Selkirk. A Portioner was a landowner, I think. Another one here. 16th or 17th century. Let's pop in this wooded area. Never know what you find in the woods. Well, it's not really woods, is it? William Riddle, or Riddell. Oh, look at that. It's a nice hourglass, isn't it? Gosh, just so many to look at. Another one with a man reading, I think. Hourglass and skull on either side. This one's a bit hard to make out, isn't it? We've got an hourglass on the left there with a book underneath it. And then you've got a crossbones, a skull, a lady in a dress on the right. You can see how it bulges out down there though, down the bottom. They just absolutely fascinate me, them type of gravestones. I know I've said it before, but they are my favourite. Francis somebody. Very ornate, some of these, aren't they? Another similar one there to the one we just looked at. Oh, this is a shame, isn't it? Looks like it's being vandalised. Interesting with the Alpha and Omega there either side of the cross, the beginning and the end. Robert Grant, 1832. Wonder what this is that's overgrown. Don't know if it's maybe a mausoleum. Oh no, there's railings around it. I don't know if we can peek in anywhere. Can't see much. John Robertson died at Green Square, 1883. It's amazing, isn't it, with the amount of railings everywhere. That plaque's missing off that one at the back. Let's check back up here, I forgot to do this one. Step inside. Reverend George Lawson, Minister of Associates Congregations in Selkirk. Heading towards the back of the kirk now. And kirk means church in Scottish, just in case you were wondering. It's quite an old one, doesn't it? Wonder what's inside this little lean-to. It's probably where they stored the coffin beer, isn't it? And oh no, maybe this is a mausoleum. I don't know if somebody's just brought that stone in here. Well, it's got a window, hasn't it? So it wouldn't be a mausoleum, I guess. Smells a bit like weed, so it's probably a good spot to hang out, isn't it? If you're that way inclined. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a long drive today. Looks like there used to be a doorway underneath this as well. Margaret Brown. So I wonder if there's a crypt in there somewhere. Oh, and here we go, we could have done with this at the start. Auld Kirk, 1747 to 1861. Notable families. See the Morial there. That's where we was. I'll just skim past this, but give it a pause if you want to know a bit more. Oh, and there's James Brown that we saw. Distinguished poet and man of letters. There's Franklin there. Sorry, I was just looking for what the D meant in Franklin D Roosevelt. I can't remember what it was. Is it Delaney, something like that? Delano, something? To give it a Google when I get back to the car. So this is Robert Ballantyne. This is the newish part of the cemetery. So I think this wall here was the original boundary. John Smith Slater. Yeah, 1920 that one, so it's probably about 100 years after maybe the last burial of the one beyond this wall, the original, in the original grounds. Sorry, I'm not making much sense today. Yeah, I can't see too much interest. Oh god, I can't see too much interest in information on these ones. No one of historical importance. Robert Clapperton, photographer. Robert Mitchell. So there would have been quite notable people of the town, but not anybody super famous, but well respected nonetheless. This is John Taylor Young, 1854. Reminds me a bit of Greyfriars, this, where they're all set into the wall at the back. Hopefully I'll be back up in Edinburgh probably next spring. Oh, look at these railings. Yeah, probably spring next year. When the weather sorry, losing my voice. When the weather's a bit nicer. John Scott, who was a painter at 25 High Street, died in 1884. Ironically, this needs painting again. In memory of John Smith, who was a builder in Selkirk, 1889. Oh, and his poor children at the bottom, look. Look at these into the hedge. That's bizarre, isn't it? Oh, this one's unusual. What on earth is that? Is it meant to be a pineapple? If anyone knows, drop me a comment. I think this once housed the tombstone in the middle of it. It's like iron sort of framing. Another obelisk. Okay, I've just googled Franklin's name and it was Delano. So, and I also found out he married his wife was his fifth cousin removed. I don't know if fifth cousin's long enough, is it, to marry them? Would you marry your fifth cousin? Drop me a comment and let me know. Alright guys, I'm going to wrap this one up now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.